Hello students, we are back again with our money and credit, and we already saw about the importance of people who deposit money in the bank, and that money is made use by the bank in order to give loan to others. So that way bank functioning is going on. They take a deposit from the people and then they use that deposit to help the people who are in need, so that they will be able to make use that money for business, industry, purchasing things and so on. And we shall see two different credit systems today. Two different situations today. You can take your textbook page number 43, and there you will find the topic two different credit systems. Let's see how people can make use the credit system credit that are available. And some people, they become poorer and poorer, and some other people become richer and richer. So let us see how people make use of this. So a large number of transactions in our day-to-day activities involve credit in some form or the other. So people in their life, nobody has got enough things what they want, the money or other things. So they need to take credit from others in one way or another, in borrowing in one way or another. Everybody has to depend on others to a certain extent. Nobody has got enough things for themselves, and therefore the credit or the loan refers to an agreement in which the lender supplies the borrower with money, goods or services in return for the promise of future payment. You can underline what is the definition of the credit, or another name for credit is loan. So what does this credit mean? It is a agreement. First of all, it is a agreement between who? The borrower and the lender. So two people are involved. It is agreement between them. And what is the agreement? That the lender supplies the borrower the money or goods or services in return for the promise of future payment. So it can be a borrowing of money, it can be borrowing of goods, or it can be borrowing of service, and the agreement is that it will be returned back in the future. That is an agreement. So if you want money, you can borrow from others and say after 1 month I will return it back. Or if you want goods, for example, there is no rice in your house, so you borrow from your neighbor one sack of rice. You say next month I will give you back. So goods we can borrow and return back. Or service, we can also borrow service from others. For example, there is work is going on in your field and you are not able to complete it by yourself. So you call your neighbor, you come and help me to work in my field, then I will work in your field next week. So I am borrowing his service, and afterwards I will return back his service. I will go and work in his house or in his farm. That way money or goods or service can be borrowed. And let us see how credit system is working in the following two examples. Let us see the example of two people, and let us say how this credit system is working. So it is, let's say the case one is about festival season, and it is festival season 2 months from now, and the shoe manufacturer Salim has received an order from a large trader in the town for 3,000 pairs of shoes to be delivered in a month's time. So a festival season is coming after 2 months, and during the festival, we know the Indians, we like to buy new dress, new shoes, so many things we try during the festival season. So one man, a big trader, he is approaching a shoe manufacturer. You give me 3,000 pairs of shoes. One pair is 2 shoes. So 3,000 pairs means 6,000 shoes. So you have to make 6,000 shoes for me in a month. So that is the order given to this man. And this man was very happy to get a very big order. He can get a lot of profit from there. But to complete production on time, Salim has to hire a few more workers for stitching and pasting work. So long he was manufacturing only few amounts or few quantities of shoes. Now suddenly within 1 month he has to make 6,000 shoes, and therefore the existing workers are not enough. He need to hire more workers. And if you want to hire more workers, you have to pay them wages. So he needs money. So what will he do? He has to purchase the raw materials. And to meet these expenses, Salim obtains loan from two sources. So he has to buy more raw materials. That shoes is made with leather, and therefore he has to purchase more leather in order to make these shoes. And therefore he does not have at present enough money for paying to the workers and to buy the leather and other raw materials. So what does he do? First, he asks the leather supplier to supply leather now and promises to pay him later. So he will go and meet the person who has got this leather, and he makes an agreement with him. You give me the leather now and I will not pay you now, but I will pay you later after 1 month. So that way, without paying money now, he is able to get the leather. So that way he is able to get credit. Here he is getting what credit? Goods. He is not borrowing money, but he is borrowing goods, leather, from that manufacturer. And secondly, he obtains a loan in cash from the large trader as advance payment for 1,000 pairs of shoes, with a promise to deliver the whole order by the end of the month. Secondly, he goes to that trader who gave him the order to make 6,000 shoes. So he told him, at present I don't have enough money, so you give me some money in advance. So you are asking me for 3,000 pairs, but you give me the money in advance for 1,000 pairs, and within 1 month I will give you all the 3,000 pairs of shoes. That time you can pay me the full. So that way he is able to get some money from the trader as well. And at the end of the month, Salim is able to deliver the order, make a good profit, and repay the money that he had borrowed. So he completed his work in 1 month, and he was able to give the shoes to the trader, and he gave him the full money, and then the goods he had borrowed from the leather manufacturer, he paid that due also. That way, after clearing all the dues, he had still a good profit. So here we see a man, he is borrowing from different people, and with that help he is able to improve his business, he is able to improve his production, and able to get a very good profit. That is what he did. And in this case, Salim obtains credit to meet the working capital needs of production. So he needed some capital, that is the money, the raw materials, all that is needed. He obtained all that, and the credit helps him to meet the ongoing expenses of production, complete production on time, and thereby increase his earnings. So this man was very clever. He knew, instead of going and borrowing money from the money lenders and so on, he approached the people who are known to him, so that he will get it without paying interest. And because of his cleverness, because of his planning, because of his thinking properly, the credit played a very vital role in his life, and therefore he was able to become a better person. Economic development was there, he got more money and so on. So that was a very clever move from the side of the Salim. Now let us come to a lady. Her name is Swapna and she is a farmer. Let's see how she is managing her daily affairs, how she is doing her daily work. So Swapna, a small farmer, grows groundnuts on her 3 acres of land. So she's a farmer and she's cultivating groundnuts and she has got the land 3 acres. And she takes a loan from a money lender to meet the expenses of cultivation, hoping that her harvest would help repay the loan. So she also does not have enough money to begin her cultivation, and therefore she goes to a money lender and borrows the money from him, hoping that she will get a very good harvest, and after the harvest she will be able to sell the groundnut and pay back the loan. That was her calculation. But what happens? Midway through the season, the crop is hit by pests and the crop fails. So, as the crop was growing, as the groundnuts were growing, pests came and ate away all these crops, all these groundnuts, and her crop failed. So, she was expecting a very good harvest, but because of these unforeseen events like pests, her harvest failed. And what to do? So though Swapna sprays her crops with expensive pesticides, it makes little difference. So she bought pesticide which is very costly and sprayed, but somehow it was not very effective. The pest did not die, her crops failed, and she is unable to repay the moneylender, and the debt grows over the year into a large amount. So, after her harvest was a very poor harvest, therefore she was not able to get money to pay back the loan. And then what happened? So, as she is waiting and waiting or delaying and delaying, the amount is increasing because she has to pay interest. And when we take from private money lenders, the interest is very high. Therefore, the amount that she has to pay back is increasing day by day. So she is really under tension. And next year, Swapna takes a fresh loan for cultivation. So next year also she does not have enough money to begin her cultivation. Therefore she is going and taking one more loan from the money lender. And it is a normal crop this year, but the earnings are not enough to cover the old loan. So this year her harvest was good, but now she has taken 2 loans, and the old loan delaying and delaying, and because of the high interest, the amount has become very very big, very high. Therefore, with this year's harvest, she is not able to pay the old loan, and therefore what happens? She is caught in debt. So she has got a lot of debt. 2 loans she has taken and she is not able to pay it back. And she has to sell a percentage of the land to pay off the debt. Finally, what she has to do? She had to sell certain area, a certain portion of her land, her property, and with that money she has to pay back the loan. So that way she became poorer, we can say. In the case of Salim, we can see after the completion of his work he became richer, but this lady, after her cultivation, because of the loan she has taken, she has become poorer. In the beginning, she had 3 acres of land. Now she had to sell some land in order to clear the land. And in the coming years as well, it may be same. She has to take loan every year, and she is, in case her crop fail, she is not able to give back, and therefore it is going to be more and more tough for her year by year. As the years pass by, it will become more and more tough for her to improve in her life. That is another very sad situation in the case of this lady Swapna. So in the rural areas, the main demand for credits is for crop production. So people who are living in the rural area, they are mostly farmers, and the loan that they take is meant for cultivation. And crop production involves considerable costs on seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, water, electricity, um, a repair of equipments, etc. So people who are doing farming in the village, there is a lot of expenses are there. They have to buy the seed, pesticides, fertilizers, and when the equipments get spoiled, they have to repair it. So a lot of expenses are there. From where will they get this money? So there is a minimum stretch of 3 to 4 months between the time when the farmers buy these inputs and when they sell the crop. And farmers usually take crop loans at the beginning of the season and repay the loan after the harvest. And repayment of the loan is crucially dependent on the income from farming. So usually we know for harvesting we take 3 to 4 months. The harvest will take 3 to 4 months. So they take the loan in the beginning of cultivation to buy the seed, to buy the fertilizers, pesticides, and so on. And they will say, they'll make the agreement, after the harvest we will give back. So harvest will take 4 months. So they have to pay interest for the money that they have taken for these 4 months. And sometimes the crop fails. In the case of Swapna, we heard her crop failed and she was unable to pay the loan. So that can happen to many farmers. That's why in our country so many farmers are committing suicide because their crop failed and they are not able to give back the loan, and therefore they do not know what to do, how to face the future, and therefore they think it is better to die and they commit suicide. A lot of farmers have committed suicide in the past years in our country, which is all because of the struggle that they are going through, the uncertainty that they are going to face in their future, and so on. So that is what happened in the Swapna's case as well. She lost her land. She had to sell the land and pay back the loan. So future also she may do the same thing, and she had to sell her land again, and after a few years she may not have any more land for cultivation. Then her life will become more and more poor, will be more and more struggling. Struggle will be there in her life. And so for Sapna, it was impossible to pay back the loan because her harvest was not so good at all. So she had to sell the land in order to repay the loan. And credit, instead of helping Sapna improve her earnings, left her worse off. So usually people take the credit or loan so that using that money they can do their cultivation, do their work, and get a better crop and get more profit and become economically better. That is their plan, that is their desire. But what happened in the case of Swapna is that the loan did not help her because her harvest failed, and because of that she had to sell off her property and pay the loan. And at the end we can say, instead of becoming richer she became poorer. So her intention was to become rich, that is why she took the loan. But instead of helping her to get that, she became poor because she had to sell off the land to pay the loan. So credit, in the case of this Swapna, we can say it is pushing the borrower into the situation from which recovery is very painful. So as I said, she will lose coming years as well more and more money. She may have to borrow more and more money again, and she will never be able to repay because she's a small farmer. She does not have very large farm, just 3 hectares, 3 acres, and with that production she is very often getting only normal harvest, sometimes crop fail also, and so we can be sure that she is not going to be able to repay the loan. She's going to suffer more and more in this future, and therefore if she continues to take money loan from the money lender, then her life is going to be in danger. She will become very, very poor in the coming years. And therefore, in one situation, credit helps to increase the earnings. So, in the case of the Salim, we saw the credit that he took from the people, it helped him because he was not taking money loan from the money lenders, he was taking from his own customers or his own agents. Therefore, they gave money or goods without interest. But in the case of Swapna, she went to the money lender and he was charging very high interest. And therefore, we can say when we take loan, we need to be careful. Going to the money lender is very, very risky, very, very dangerous. Because of the high interest, we are not sure the crop is going to be successful or not. So we are taking a very big risk when we go to the money lender to take the loan. So instead, we have to find out safe places, safe areas from where we can borrow money, goods or service, so that even if our crop fail, we have to make sure that we are not put into trouble, we are not put into danger, our life is not in trouble. We have to make sure that, otherwise we are taking a very big risk, just like Swapna. At the end, we will end up our life in trouble and we may become poorer and poorer. So that is the very serious problem that most of the people in India are facing. So we need to be like Kamal and we need to improve. We need to, not Kamal, Salim, we need to improve the areas or our planning from where we can take safe loans. So that is the way we shall wind up for today. In the next class, we shall study about in order to take a credit or in order to take a loan, what are the conditions, what are the terms that are there. So we'll study that. So different types of loans are available, and if we are interested, they are willing to give. So banks are there, other institutions are there in order to provide loan. So when we take loan, we have to make sure that we take from a safe place, not one who is going to put us into trouble or debt, but a safe place that will be safe for our future as well. So thank you for listening. We'll meet you again in the next class. Bye.